Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Bryan Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Bryan Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dr. Tokach from Kansas State Animal Sciences to discuss the PED virus. Inside Kansas Ag has Katie Allen with K-State Research and Extension reporting on rural growers and grocery stores. And in news you need to know, we have our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The National Farmers Union, Beginning Farmers Institute, encourages agricultural leaders from all backgrounds to help in providing leadership training and farm management skills to individuals eager to begin or expand their agricultural knowledge. NFU feels that it is important to provide opportunities for interested individuals to get started in farming because the average age of farmers in the United States is 57. NFU President Roger Johnson states that with an aging farming workforce, there's a real need for beginning and transitioning farmers and ranchers to enter the agricultural sector. It is also an excellent opportunity for soldiers to transition back to the workforce. Record high retail beef prices have some consumers looking for alternatives such as pork, but retail pork prices may also see record highs this summer. The number of hogs going to market will be lower than expected due to the PED virus, smaller spring farrowings, and growing foreign purchases of U.S. pork. And in local news, Kansas Farm Service Agency Executive Director Adrian Polanski reminds agricultural producers that July 15th is the deadline to file an acreage report for spring-seeded crops. The Agricultural Act of 2014 requires producers on a farm to submit an annual acreage report on all cropland. Producers who do not enroll by the July 15th deadline are subject to late filing requirements. Producers should contact their local office for an appointment to submit their spring-seeded crops acreage report. The Governor's Water Vision team visited 12 locations throughout the state of Kansas last week, asking for citizens' input on the first draft of the 50-year vision for the future of water in Kansas. The draft is based on input the water team gathered for months prior from stakeholders representing all water uses. Kansas Water Office Director Tracy Streeter encourages folks to take a look at the vision's first draft on the KWO website, kwo.org. Last week, U.S. Senator Jerry Moran, along with U.S. Senator Pat Roberts, announced that the 2015 Homeland Security Appropriations Bill was approved. The bill includes $300 million for the construction of the National Bio and Agro-Defense Facility, or NBAF. NBAF will be a state-of-the-art biocontainment facility for the study of foreign animal diseases that threaten U.S. animal agriculture and public health. NBAF will provide critical research, develop vaccines, and train veterinarians to prepare for and respond to diseases. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dr. Tokach from Kansas State Animal Sciences to discuss the PED virus. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Over the past 30 years, Dick Edwards in Manhattan has been building strong personal relationships, starting the moment you walk through the door with a sales team committed to meeting your car buying needs and carrying over into our service department with technicians able to handle all of your vehicle's upkeep. We've always been upfront and honest with our pricing, offering amazing financing offers and warranty packages. If you've shopped with us before, you know that the customer always comes first. Stop in and see us. Dick Edwards in Manhattan, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At AgRisk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. AgRisk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
AgRisk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Trending now at Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, Kia and Dodge, Ford and Jeep, all at one location. Kia, affordable, stylish, reliable. Ram, rugged, spacious, powerful. Ford, legendary, dependable, tough. Jeep, off-road, on-road, limitless possibilities. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, I-70 and Highway 77 in Junction City.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dr. Tokach, thanks for joining us this morning. PDV got into the U.S. about a year ago. Kind of walk us through getting here and kind of where we're at today.
Yes, it did start in the United States. First identification was in mid-May of last year, but we found out that it actually came here earlier. The earliest known is probably early April of 2013. We do know that it came from China. We still don't know exactly how it got here, but they found out that it came from China by matching the DNA profiles, and they found out basically the exact province where it came from in China. So there's still a lot of work to be done to determine exactly how PEDV or any other disease, for that matter, could come into the United States and how to prevent it in the future.
Well, we want to remind everybody that this is not an issue that we need to be concerned about as far as consumers go.
That's exactly right. This is a disease that affects baby pigs predominantly, and so we have very high mortality in baby pigs with this disease, but it is not a food safety concern. It is not transferable to humans, and that is very important for people to know.
Research being done here at Kansas State University.
We're doing several different research projects at Kansas State. In the vet school, there's a very active group of virologists that are working with the PEDV. Dr. Dick Hesse is leading up a lot of that group in order to try to understand the profiles, trying to understand a little bit of how it is transferred, how it moves from animal to animal or within a group of pigs, and then also to understand how long the profile, how long immunity lasts or of the disease, and then we're also working with Dr. Hesse on the feed side, grouping together with our group in the grain science department and also with our group here in animal science to try to determine whether we can process the feed to prevent transfer through the feed ingredients. And so things we're doing there is determining the exact pelleting temperature or conditioning time, or in terms of whether we can treat individual feed ingredients to lessen the potential that they would bring PEDV into a farm.
Well, not only feed, but transportation and other issues seem to be a way to to spread the disease
That's
as well.
exactly right. You want to make sure people understand that feed is one way that we can move PEDV into an operation, but it's much more likely that it's moved in through transportation or through other pigs entering into a farm. And so we want to know that PEDV is what they call a fecal oral disease, and so it comes out in the feces of the pig. So anytime you have access to those feces, either by picking up the virus on your boots or on your clothes, it can be transferred into another group of pigs just by being in contact with pigs and then moving into a group that has not seen the disease before.
So good biosecurity at your own facilities is a good place to start.
That's exactly right. Biosecurity is by far the most important aspect, and not having access to pigs that have had the disease.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to finish up with Dr. Tokach here at Kansas State University. We're going to talk about some of the other research going on. You're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Some of the research that you guys are doing here, it has to start somewhere, and you guys are doing some research on the feed side. Tell us about that.
Well, we have two main projects that I'll share with you. One of them is being led by Dr. Cassie Jones from the Grain Science Department, and what she's looking at is, are there various feed ingredients that we can add to the diet, either during processing or at the end of processing, that would help to eliminate any contamination of PEDV that happens in the feed, either, again, coming into the diet with an ingredient, or maybe contamination in a feed mill after the feed has been made. And so a product that may be able to kill that virus before it gets to the pigs. And so she's doing some of that work in her BSL-2 lab in the Grain Science Department. We're also doing a second project, is one that's also funded by the National Pork Board, similar to Dr. Jones's study. This project is led by Dr. Jason Woodworth here in Animal Science, and we're looking at conditioning times and temperatures to try to determine if we can heat the feed long enough or condition it long enough at a high enough temperature to kill any PEDV that may be coming in with a feed ingredient, or again through contamination. That experiment is going to be done in our BSL-3 facility here on campus.
BSL-2 and BSL-3, explain to us what that means.
Yeah, well, those are terms for a biosafety level 2 or biosafety level 3. What that means is that we're dealing with a pathogen that can be transmitted in the BSL-2, and it's a pathogen that can be transmitted to other animals, and so we could do that in our facilities, but prevent it from contaminating our own swine herd. And so we have multiple BSL-2 facilities on campus that we could do these type of research trials in. The BSL-3 facility, we only have one of those facilities. There's only a few of those in the country, and that facility is where we can bring in small-scale pellet mills, and we can bring in animals and feed this feed with the virus to the animals, and do that in a safe manner where we can clean it up afterwards and know that we don't contaminate again any of our own animals. The BSL-3 facilities, you normally use pathogens that can be transmitted also to humans, but since this is a disease, we don't worry about the humans, but we use that facility just because it has the size that allows us to bring our larger equipment into.
Future of the U.S. swine herd. It's probably hard to tell now, but where do you think it's going?
Well, with the PEDV, it is very hard to tell exactly what's going to happen. We do believe that about 50 to 60% of our swine herd has been infected with this disease, and it's killed about 7% of the pigs in the last year, and the baby pigs is what the thoughts are. The good part about it is that the pigs do develop some immunity after they have been exposed with the disease. We don't know yet just exactly how long that immunity lasts, but we are very hopeful that because we've learned so much in the last year, we know that we'll be able to handle the disease much easier than what we have in the past. And it really doesn't kill adult animals at all. And so sows have come back very good from the disease. So we think that the pig herd will recover very, very well. Grow finished pigs, there's been almost no impact on them from the disease. And so again, it's really only affects the baby pigs in the farrowing house, but it has been very devastating for the producers that have been impacted at that level.
I'm Katie Allen with K-State Research and Extension, and I'm at the National Rural Grocery Summit that's hosted in Manhattan. And with me today is Ken Meter, who's president of Crossroads Resource Center in Minneapolis. He's a keynote speaker for the summit, talking about the role of rural grocers and local food systems. And you talked about community-based food systems, or food webs. Can you explain what those are in more detail?
Well, I think basically my sense is that rural communities especially have real trouble surviving unless people work together well, unless they connect with each other and do business not simply to do business and not simply to make money, to build a stronger community. So it's a web of relationships that really help community life be stronger, that help get food and other products from the producer to the consumer, but also build a whole sense that if a dollar's earned in rural America, it stays there for a while.
What are some of the challenges in developing these food webs in rural areas?
Well, the biggest challenge of all is that the economy itself is so effective at sucking wealth out of our rural communities. It's an incredible engine that's globally connected and very productive, but its impact is largely to kind of draw a lot of our kids out of our small towns, to draw money out of our small towns, to really make life very unpredictable. So that's one of the huge obstacles. It's kind of there, and we think it's normal. We have to sort of step back and look at how to think differently about it.
And you mentioned if a consumer of Kansas just spent $5 weekly in buying locally from a Kansas farm, then the revenue would be more than $750 million a year for just Kansas farms in new revenue. Why is this so important?
Well, I think it's important for several reasons. We have this time now where people across the country are really, farmers are saying, I'm tired of putting food on a truck and having it go away forever. I want to know my customer. I want to feed people who are my friends and neighbors. And you've got consumers saying, I want a farm I can visit. I want a place that I can take my kids. I want a place that I can go and check out what kind of, are they farming practices I like. And so you have this real desire to connect across that space and time and not simply go to a store and buy a product.
And how could rural grocers get involved in this and trying to define their mission and maybe incorporate some of those local growers into their system? What do you recommend for them?
Well, I think the first things I really think about are really to try to connect so that you think of your store as a point of connection, not simply a store. And I think rural grocers do this already. They understand that people strike up a conversation in the cash register line, and that people chat with the butcher, and there's all kinds of stuff like that does happen. But how do you make that increase? Some grocery stores in small towns have a little cafe where people can sit and gather together there. A deli counter might be a way of ordering a sandwich made with local meats. Connecting with farmers, bringing them into the store to showcase what they're growing, to have them process or package or kind of show some value added with that product. Some grocery stores now have a greenhouse on top or a greenhouse next door, so that they're actually selling food that they were raising. Sharing some infrastructure with other grocers. Maybe a grocery store that had some means could actually build a little bigger warehouse and share that capacity with other people who are trying to raise food for the community.
Well, great information from Ken Meter, who's president of Crossroads Resource Center, a speaker here at the National Rural Grocery Summit in Manhattan. I'm Katie Allen reporting for K-State Research and Extension.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Trending now at Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, Kia and Dodge, Ford and Jeep, all at one location. Kia, affordable, stylish, reliable. Ram, rugged, spacious, powerful. Ford, legendary, dependable, tough. Jeep, off-road, on-road, limitless possibilities. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza, I-70 and Highway 77 in Junction City.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Over the past 30 years, Dick Edwards in Manhattan has been building strong personal relationships, starting the moment you walk through the door with a sales team committed to meeting your car buying needs and carrying over into our service department with technicians able to handle all of your vehicle's upkeep. We've always been upfront and honest with our pricing, offering amazing financing offers and warranty packages. If you've shopped with us before, you know that the customer always comes first. Stop in and see us. Dick Edwards in Manhattan, 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall on Highway 24.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3-quarter or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
The National Cattlemen's Beef Association is part of a broad national coalition urging Congress to direct the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture to suspend indefinitely the revised country of origin labeling rule if it is found to be in violation of international trade rules. A World Trade Organization dispute settlement panel is expected to issue its final report later this month on whether the mandatory U.S. cool rule is compliant. If the U.S. is found to be non-compliant by WTO, Canada and Mexico have indicated they will retaliate in the form of billions of dollars in tariffs against U.S. goods, including U.S. meat. WTO ruled against the original version of the mandatory cool rule in 2011, finding it discriminated against imported livestock. The international trade body gave the U.S. until May 2013 to bring the cool rule into compliance. However, Canada and Mexico challenged the revised rule, arguing cool had a trade-distorting impact by reducing the value and number of cattle and hogs shipped to the U.S. market. According to the coalition, if Congress fails to ensure mandatory U.S. cool complies with international trade obligations, American jobs and manufacturing will be put at risk. The Cool Reform Coalition is comprised of associations and companies that represent the U.S. food, agriculture, and manufacturing industries.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag. The grain markets have struggled to find positive momentum following the June 30th USDA report. For the first time in a number of years, corn producers are having to seriously contemplate cash prices falling below their break-evens. For those producers who didn't move quickly enough in hedging higher prices during the first half of the year, the reaction may be to simply put it in the bin and try to wait it out. For those who have a limited amount of on-farm storage or no storage at all, this strategy makes even less sense, as commercial storage costs can easily eat up a majority of a post-harvest rally. However, we still feel there's a long way to go before the grain's in the bin, and the corn market might be dealing with a completely different set of factors in a few months. However, if the market fails to find outside factors to trade on, expect rallies to be fairly shallow, and don't be surprised to see a lot of catch-up sales occurring when and if these rallies occur.
The soybean complex continues to feel the weight of the Planted Acreage Report. It will take a major shift in weather patterns in the U.S. to reasonably expect a sub-trendline yield. The favorable weather forecasts have put the beans in the defensive mode for the next several weeks. At this point, we need help from an outside source, Chinese news being the most obvious. If we see favorable weather conditions and our yields are revised higher, the numbers point to an increase in carryout from an extremely tight 125 million bushels to a record 575 million bushels. Unless something arrives to change the current dynamic, expect rallies to be short-lived. For questions on these or any other markets, please call Paragon at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
AgRisk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, AgRisk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to welcome our newest viewers in the Joplin-Pittsburgh area to our show, and I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Bryan Hallman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.